Hello and welcome to a latest episode of Gull'S I View. I'm joined by Matty
Hello.
and Dom.
Hello, mate. You right?
Yeah, good. And we're here to discuss the Halifax and Aldershot games, the power rankings, and also look towards Weymouth. Anyway, we'll start the Halifax game. You were there, Matt. What was your thoughts of the game?
I'm sure everybody knows how that game went by now.
Yeah.
Dominant first 45 minutes, all over possession. We were getting luck of the drop of the ball, throw-ins, but we just didn't make it count. And then we got in at half time, and you knew fully well that Halifax was going to come out a different animal that second half, and we were probably going to rue the fact that we didn't take any chances or get the ball into the back of the net, and we did basically. That's what happened.
Yeah, I was out at Tesco at the time, and I came back to my phone and said, "Oh, we've had plenty of chances, but we haven't scored, and it's half time." I thought, "Oh no, that doesn't sound something." So they were bound to get better, weren't they? After that, unfortunately.
Yeah, the first couple of minutes, they sort of looped the ball up over, and sort of Sean had to sort of parry it out and away, and you're thinking, we struggled to sort of get it down and get hold of it. But sort of after the first 5 minutes or so, we were rattling them. They didn't really know how to handle us. It was just so frustrating because you know that we get that goal, and I know Johnston spoke about it this week. You get that first goal in any game, and it shapes the rest of the match for you.
The first goal is so important, especially away from home for us, isn't it? If we get the first goal away, we tend to get a result, but lose that first one, we haven't come back many times, have we, this season? I think
that's just the difference, really, isn't it? It's just the difference between us this and last season. But yeah, that's fair enough. Everyone sort of knows about that game. It was a bit of a missed opportunity. It shows performance-wise we're not far off with just that little bit of clinicalness. So going on to Tuesday night, 4-0 win against Aldershot. We want to speak about that more, let's be honest. What are your thoughts, Dom, on the game overall?
Well, I can talk briefly about Aldershot first.
I think that's
the worst teams I've seen at Playmore in many a year.
It was actually. I know it sounds stupid, but when I went past the Aldershot fans at the end, you're like, "Oh my god, that's horrific!" You come down the Tuesday night and they're just horrific. Not even trying. They couldn't do like basics. They were just throwing it and just losing it, and it's just hilarious. Salkey didn't get out first gear all night. We didn't need to.
There was probably two players on their team. I think 27, the winger, and the striker, that looked quite live.
Pontan, he's next Leicester youngster. I remember them.
Defence so passive, weren't they? I couldn't believe how much space they gave us, and obviously that helped.
And it was hilarious own goal as well. For the third goal, that was just ridiculous.
Oh, that was a lovely home goal, wasn't it? You can't beat that. You haven't seen that on the highlights yet, Matty, have you?
I've not seen it. No, we're only 48 hours. The game was only 48 hours ago. Still not managed to see him.
No, it's annoying that they haven't put it out yet. Maybe Aldershot are just like. Maybe they're paying us not to put the highlights out because that was embarrassing.
It was X-rated. There's just so much space. I mean, Danny would get the ball and they all just retreated. I mean, almost like he was Ronaldo. They all just backtracked and he had time just to turn, take it, a few touches. At one point, a long ball went to kind of Lemonhead and he had the chance just to trap it down, take touches and do what he wanted.
I think it was just one thing's not being the best team out there, but when you're just not doing any sort of effort to make the basics, I think that's just ridiculous. Like we've seen to play in the Conference South, and we've seen teams play much better than that.
How was Halifax's defence? Was pretty stern, I suppose, on Saturday, Matty, was it?
Yeah. I mean, they're third, aren't they? You expect them to sort of, be a tough team to play against. But I did. Oh, what? Sorry.
They got tight on Danny, I guess, did they?
Yeah, they got tight on Danny, and they just game managed. They rode what I call rode the wave out against us pretty well. They managed to sort of dig in and defend and see it out to half time. I mean, I did listen to the Aldershot game, and they sounded so dejected, Aldershot, on how it came across on the commentary.
Yeah.
I mean, they sounded bad, and from what you've been saying,
they're a team that's lost many games in a row, haven't they? And I think their supporters were expecting the worst.
Because they lost 3-0 against Kings Lynn the weekend, didn't they? We lost Halifax, and I thought, they come out of a bit of a a bit of an attitude. They probably won't be the same game. And then the only bit, of course, they showed, they had a free kick. He did the Ronaldo stance and he hit it straight at McDonald, and that was it. And then we just controlled the game from there. But they
played well. There was lots of nice football. I mean, as my dad said, I mean, they were terrible, but
it's taking nothing away from how we played. Honestly, like Armani Little was unbelievable, and just all of them were great. I don't know if it's just like the season, but I find it staggering the quality difference between like how we've just completely blown away the teams near the bottom, and like the top of the league is just different. It's different. I know that's how most league tables go. I feel like there's such a gap this season.
It's all about the space we get, I think. Me. I mean, we space, we do struggle to create chances, but give us a bit of space, suddenly we can score 3 or 4 goals.
Yeah.
Have to do the in-between bit where you can just grab that close win when you need it, don't you?
Going back to the Halifax thing, because I know this is sort of talking points have faded away now. We've been Aldershot, but Billy Waters scored, and I know in our little talk chat there's a few different like chats and on social media and that. What are your opinion on it? My personal opinion is he's a good player. Didn't have pre-season at Torquay. I'm still not quite over a playoff final, but he gave 100% here. Shame he missed the penalty and all that, but I thought he gave 100%. Not like irreplaceable talent, if that makes sense. And I thought as soon as Billy Waters scored, I knew what conversation was going to be having, because I don't think it's plain sailing for one that he left. Yeah, it was inevitable. What are your thoughts on that?
If Billy Waters was playing for us last Saturday, would we have won?
I think. I mean, we spoke about this in the chat, isn't it? And I alluded to it on Match Sports. Billy is a good player when he's played to his strengths. Now, can we honestly hand on heart say, was he played to his strengths under Johnson? And he, in the same sort of scenario as Reedy. Reedy was sort of nowhere at one point out on that left wing, wasn't he? He wasn't the player that Johnson turned him into. And then, I think the same argument could possibly be made for Billy. You've got a player there, obviously, with a lot of talent. Look, if you look at some of the goals he scored as well, some of his finishes from last season, not just the fact
he against Eastleigh,
he scored
8 or 9 last season for us, didn't he? And he was in and out of the team. He was on the wing.
He was in, and he was on the bench. He was in and out. He wasn't sort of, the team wasn't built around him, and he still, like you say, managed to bag sort of 8 or 9 goals. And they were quality goals as well. So, he's got talent. He's a good player. Whether we were right to let him go or not, I think you could sit and debate that till the cows come home, to be honest. It's just one of them things in football that, he's gone from the Rats.
He probably got better pay and an offer to go nearer home, didn't he? So I think
Yeah, I don't think it was this thing that Gary Johnson's like, no, you're rubbish at football, go and find another career, that some people think. No. Especially when he signed him twice, signed him at, I think he's had him twice, hasn't he? So it's just like, no, it's just one of those things. I don't get why everyone's so heads up about that, really. But it's football.
I mean, when you compare him to you compare him to Danny, he's a different type of striker, isn't he? You look at his energy level, he runs at players. He's fairly quick. He's got a bit of pace about him. He's not the biggest lad in the world.
He also gets those scrappy tap-ins you sometimes need, don't you? And we ain't got many players who do that, I suppose. So
Coleman was meant to, but
whether he could have done what he's done at Halifax this season for us, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, is as good as anyone's, I think.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I think that sort of sums up those 2 games. Well, it showed the level we are. We're a good team. We're just not quite that top level.
Well, there was some cracking goals on Tuesday night, Sam. A couple of good team.
Yes. That 4th one was probably one of my favourite team goal of the season. Like, Wright deserved a goal so much. He was so selfless all night.
Picked him out, lovely finish.
It reminded me of the Conference South days, really, didn't it? When we were just stroking it around. And OP Edwards, it's nice to see him. I believe he was at fault for one of the goals against Halifax, and he started off a bit wasteful against Aldershot in possession, but he's got to come back.
Yeah, he wasted a couple of balls against Halifax. He wasn't really sort of. You can tell he wasn't match fit. I know Johnson said that.
Understandably, he hasn't played for a while, has he? So.
No, and it's good. He's the sort of player we've needed all season, really, and I hope he's there next season. I'd definitely take him in the squad next year.
Yeah, he was a bit rusty, but you know, like you say, when he did get the occasions where he did get the ball and he was causing a few problems, and you know, because we know about the pace he's got, and you know, when he starts running that plays, you know, he makes things happen.
It's happy to me, a bit like he was bit like he was wearing ballet shoes.
Yeah, he was a bit. He was a different player. Yeah, he was scared. I think he was scared of losing the ball, if that makes sense. So it's more that he's gone to another team, or he's matured, obviously, as a player, and he's gone, right, it's not about sprinting past everyone. And he's conserved my energy a bit.
It was good. It always was. It's just about keeping him
fit. Yeah. But if he's not running as much, then he won't do a hamstring every week, but we'll see. But so moving on to the power rankings. So this is voted by the public. The public have spoken. So we'll go sort of 10th, 9th and 8th first, which are on your screen now. So 10th place, we've got Danny Wright, who I thought he was brilliant on this last 3 games, of course. So that is the Halifax game, the Aldershot game, and the game before that.
Scored 2 against Kingsland. And
he did, yeah. So 10th is a bit harsh, I would say, to be honest, but because I voted for him in my top 5. But yeah, he's 10th. What have you made of his performances?
He's making the best of what he can do, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think his fitness is getting a little bit better. He said he's suffered with a bit of illness and fitness in the last month or 2, so he has struggled. He is doing what he can do. He had plenty of space to work with Tuesday, but he picked out Connor for the 4th with a lovely ball. He had some nice knock-ons to the other players. He did what he did. He won't let you down, Danny. Really,
no.
It's just how much space he can be allowed.
Yeah, and so going into the 9th and 8th, we've got Lapsey and Stephen Wynne. What are your opinions of them 2 players when you saw them against Halifax, Matt?
Lapsey giving the ball boy a little shove was probably the highlight.
I heard about that, yeah.
Wern was a little bit sort of anonymous, I think.
We spoke about that, yeah.
It was a sort of frustrating game that, it was a frustrating game and we weren't really sort of linking up. He wasn't really showing what he can do. A lot of it was we're trying to play a lot down our left-hand side.
Yeah.
But he didn't really stand out, have a really standout noticeable game for me against Halifax.
His last 4 games before Aldershot, isn't it?
Yeah. I think Aldershot game was the first time we've seen him on the ball, and he looked really competent. I think maybe it helps him having OP Edwards on the other side, so it's a bit more balanced. And Martin's hopefully probably be back because he came on off the bench Tuesday night, then hopefully that'll help him a bit again. But he's got the talent, but he's a bit anonymous at times, isn't he? I think that's my opinion.
He showed some nice touches against Aldershot. It was nice to see him get a goal.
Yeah, he's definitely got quality in his locker, and he has flashes of that. And I'd rather have him in the team than not in the team.
I agree.
If that makes sense. But yeah, he just went a little bit missing against Halifax.
Yeah. So into the mid lot, which we'll see now. So in 7th place, we've got Joe Lewis, who's just been solid. What was his performance against Halifax like, Matt?
Again, he was pretty solid at the back. He wasn't really at fault for anything.
No.
They said he was dreadful, didn't they? I can't remember who it was, but somebody said he looked very shaky. But I don't think Matty agreed. So.
No, I can't agree with that. Really, he dealt with what he needed to deal with. He wasn't immense or anything like that. He didn't have one of his best games, I'd say, but he didn't do anything noticeably wrong. The penalty appeal, I don't know if you've seen that or not, but it was a definite penalty. My gut feeling was that when he was shoved down in the box, and the appeals went up, it was a penalty. And I know Johnson's come out and said that it was after he's seen it.
Sort of penalty you don't get very often, do you? Those sort of things, bit of a push.
No. But I think that was one of the things I remember most of him being involved in that game was being brought down for that penalty shout. But apart from that, he was fairly solid. He did his job. So yeah,
he was solid.
Another good game.
He'd also taken his beard off by then, and he'd lost his beard. He looked better for it, I think.
That's horrible though to face. So moving up, we've got Levin Ivans and Dean Moxey. Levin Ivans, he showed his class on Tuesday night, and he's been decent the last few games. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think Connor's a bit hard done by. Actually, he probably should be further up.
Yeah, he was so good. Oh my god! By the time it was the third or fourth goal on Tuesday night, he was just like the South Seas. He had all the confidence in the world. On the ball,
he would have had a hat-trick, wouldn't he? Because he had enough chances here, or he just couldn't quite put the ball in. And that one that was an own goal was in fumbled attempt.
Yeah, if he'd hit that on his left, and it might have gone in, as I keep saying. But in fifth place, I feel like Moxey's always fifth place, but he is fifth place again. Just solid, can you say? Absolute professional.
Got a nice round of applause when he came off on Tuesday.
Yeah. Do you think he's really kept fit this season for Ali Omar's come on and had everything? But yeah, I thought he's been really solid. And then in fourth, we've got our international, one of our two internationals now, England C internationals. Ben Winter made his 150th appearance. Well done, Ben. And he's just been brilliant. I thought he was really calm on the ball. What was it like against Halifax, Matt?
Again, he was
just solid.
Yeah. Again, it was second half when it all went to pot. Yeah, it was. But first half, he was again. We were playing. We played well. Getting on the ball, and then he had a couple of tricky balls that came over the top. Like when there's a sort of a bit of an awkward bounce, you're not quite sure where it's going to go. It's a little bit of a moment where he needs to make that quick decision about whether he's going to head it back, pass it back, play it out of play, or whatever. But and he had a couple of moments there where he could have. It could have been tricky for him, but he dealt with that well. So yeah, again, another good performance from Weymouth.
It's interesting that he's got OP Edwards in front of him now. I'm really interested to see how that will work.
Yeah, he's still better as a right back.
I'd still throw him as right back. Yeah,
definitely.
He's okay in a free, but I'd still like to see him at right back and push him forward.
I agree.
Yeah, he gets forward more, doesn't he? In a back four as a right back, he has that freedom a little bit more to sort of push on, I think. I don't know what you think about that.
The last 3 months, he's been one of our best players.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think he started the season very well. It was a bit shaky, wasn't it, with the rest of the back four? But he really has gathered his consistency.
Since Mcdonald came back into the team, it's just everyone's just a bit more relaxed
just
again.
Maturing as a player, I think.
Yeah, going into the top three, and we have a new number one, which we'll get to in a minute for first time. So in third place, we've got Little, who's back up where he deserves to be. He was from another England C international. He was unbelievable Tuesday night.
Yeah, he got the Man of the Match award, didn't he? I think that surprised a few because everybody assumed that Duke would get it.
Or Emma Evans, but it was so much class, like the turns he was doing, and I think he's got his fitness. He looked really confident in his own sort of body and that the way he was turning people. I'm not confident because every time he starts sprinting, I'm like, don't go hamstring. But I think he's been absolutely brilliant all season, and if we can keep him next season, then that'd be an unbelievable achievement for us. Really, that's a big sign. I do worry, but we'll see.
He pulled the strings, doesn't he? He's playing a little bit deeper.
Not his hamstrings this time. Just pulling the strings. Yeah, it's been nice to see.
A little bit deeper, I think.
We don't want him pulling any more strings.
Thanks. I'll stop now.
Going into a player that, again, if we keep next season, it'd be delightful. Sean Mcdonald actually been knocked off the top. He has been. Not any fault of his own. But that's usually a good thing if your keeper isn't the best player in your squad. But
the alarm bells were ringing a little bit this week, weren't they, when his agent put out...
Yes, I was going to get to that. That did worry me a bit.
Sorry.
Sean Matt,
yeah.
Saying he's on the way up in his career, which is slightly worrying.
He made an unbelievable save against Halifax. I don't know if you saw it.
No.
Yeah, it was in for all the money in the world. He's just looking, thinking that's in, and then all of a sudden he's just come out of absolutely nowhere, and he's just got a hand to it and saved it, and then the chant went up for him, and Again, he's been superb since he's come back for us.
It seems to be getting better as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just like even little things like against Aldershot, you know, when we tested the 2 shots he had, like 2 or 3 really sort of fierce, difficult balls. There's no even like chance that he's going to drop it. It's just glued onto him. And I mean, he's Football League standard. I would say this right, and I think he is, you know. And when I saw that agency, it did worry me a bit.
Keep it to yourself.
I fear that nothing against our club, that agency is not just there to get him a 1 or 2 year deal here. That makes sense. But we'll see.
Clearly trying to look around a little bit.
Deserves it. He does deserve it.
And to be fair to Sean as well, he's a long way from home and he's down here.
Yeah, he is. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
You know, for however much, you know, he's been a good servant and player for us. You know, at the end of the day, he's a long way from home. So if he did move sort of close to him, I couldn't begrudge him that really.
It's not Notts County. Please not Notts County.
Yeah, apart from that.
Please not Notts County.
It was done afterwards with the kids around the touchline and stuff.
Yeah, he's well loved. Yeah.
So that was nice to see.
But then Carl Cameron was well loved when he was there, and that handled differently. But and he still went Notts County. But it's a short career at the end of the day. You've got one chance to make it, and I won't begrudge anyone at all. Obviously, you know, I'm not saying, you know, it sounds like I'm like down being number 1 at Torquay, like 1 2 year deal. It's still a great achievement for him. You know, that's still something.
We hope to keep these players as long as humanly possible.
I mean, like, you know, if you were taking it a few years ago and you made that 7.5 hour drive down to see Gary Hours, but I mean, like, if a Football League club's like watching him, and he's
remember that it sounded like he travelled through the night, didn't he? To get Chris Reyes, kind of like.
Yeah, he just turned up, was like, "Oh, come on, you've travelled 7.5 hours. We need a number 2 this season. We've got to keep the yeah, have the contract, mate. Go on." But yeah, I think he's more white. I don't think he'd be like, "No, I'm definitely leaving. Don't give me a contract," kind of thing. Like, I'm going to go and on trial. I think he'd be like, "Right, I'll probably consider this," but like my money, Little now, he's got a full season. Little didn't have a full season because of injuries. Mcdonald because he was in and out with Covenant last season. So he has actually, he's 25 years old, and it's just like, oh.
I mean, you got to think as well, at the end of last, I mean, Sean left, didn't he? He went and he'd gone, he'd left the club. And, you know, you think, right, we need a keeper, and it's, I know, sort of, you can imagine that phone call, all right, Sean, it's Gary, and he's like, all right, yeah, you know, sort of have to sort of, eat a humble pie and
yeah, go on.
Yeah, sort of give him the, we need you back, we want you back sort of speech. And
it would have been interesting. I would have been a fly on the wall. I think the difference is this year he kind of left because he was like, well, I've not played. Sorry, I'm going to go off then, find another club. But this year it's more, I have played, I've been your number 1. You know, I've got a lot of people looking at me. Because if Covenant had that interest for playing well for 3 months last season at 29, 30, I'd dread to think at what McDonald's had, like probably one of the best keepers in the league all season since it's come back, and 25. So
it's my worry for the summer, really. How difficult is it to replace a really good goalkeeper, a really good centre back, and a playmaker?
Well, Halstead under contract on, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not a year left on. It's fine.
And he will get another keeper. You know Halstead's record. He's the best bench keeper for getting someone promoted. He'll have another promotion on his CV next season.
He's a good cheerleader.
Well, I mean, Coughlin's number 3 at Port Vale, so at the moment, always injured.
Halstead's another good candidate for Gilbert the Goal next year. Right.
But yeah, McDonald, and in number 1, back to the power rankings, the Duke, he's just been outstanding. Just the loan market at its best. His skill on that against Aldershot is unbelievable.
He's the fire starter, isn't he? He kind of sparks the team into life. I mean, first 10 minutes were quite scrappy, a bit slow, and then suddenly got the ball, did a little touch. He loves a turn, doesn't he? Turn around the corner. Yeah, he loves that. Suddenly he was away and just creating something, just making something happen.
Yeah, I don't really have any hope of him coming back next season, to be honest, because I think he'll probably get loaned out to like a League 2 club, I reckon, next season. I think, he could develop brilliantly here for another year, but I just reckon from Queen's Park Rangers' point of view.
How old is he again?
19?
19? I'll Google it whilst you're talking.
19.
I think...
We'll see him more eventually, I'd imagine,
Yeah, I think, you never know with careers. There's been some loanees that have come here. He's 21. Some
I
loanees who
thought
have
he was
come.
sorry.
Yeah, some career come here and you think, oh, they're going to have a great career now, and then there's just a couple of moves haven't happened. They've ended up even lower than us. So you never know. But at 21, I don't know how long he's got on his Queen's Park Rangers contract, but I reckon he'll go for one more year where he's trying to get the first team, and then if not, he'll probably get a permanent move, I reckon, next year to that League One too.
Side, won't he?
Yeah, and he made 4 appearances at Queen's Park Rangers, I think, this season already.
He was on the bench for him, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think like January or something like that.
Yeah,
he was on the bench.
Yeah, they were definitely like, whoa. When Queen's Park Rangers let them go, they're like, wow, that's a deal.
Championship, isn't it? If they were League One, he'd probably be played by now. It's a step up to Championship.
I think, yeah.
He's certainly got the fire in his belly to do it. So.
Oh, he's brilliant, and he's an international as well. So he's got that part of it as well, which is nice. So going into the last bit of the video, which is the preview, we've got Weymouth, who are somehow 9 points behind Aldershot. I don't know how. Going back to the away game, that started we started that season, really. That was a great day away from home. I don't think it will be like the Aldershot game at all. I feel like Weymouth, even though they might have less ability on paper, they will definitely be giving it their all. So it definitely won't be, we beat Aldershot 4-0, we're going to beat those 6-0 kind of thing. What are your thoughts?
Looking at recent results, they've generally scrapped out games. They've lost 5 games in a row, so the confidence must be pretty bad. They got thrashed by Altrincham, didn't they? But they did only lose 1-0 to Stockport. They lost in the week 0 to Woking, so they're just getting out.
I feel like an early goal will kill them off most probably.
They should have. It would be very disappointing not to beat them after the Tuesday result.
Yeah, and then beat them, and then it's nice because I just want to keep sort of pushing. I want to stay in top half and sort of look for like 9th, 10th, and just sort of be around it. And then we move on to some more challenging games, then, don't we? So it'd be nice to go into them with like back-to-back wins.
What seems to be happening is the teams around us are playing, and then each one of them in turn are playing the 3 bottom teams in a row. Yeah. And so the tough games are coming just before the pick up 9 points bottom 3 because they're bloody awful, aren't they? So.
Yeah. No. What were your thoughts, Matt, going into the game?
You just don't want it to be another Western-super-Mare at home, do you? We lost that, and it was like they bottom at the time as well.
Yeah, and also and then they've done like a Bale versus Barcelona winner where he's ran off the pitch and still managed to score.
About 60 yards down the touchline.
Pass, and Sean Mcdonald now. He has like the best one-on-one stats I've seen in ages, but those days he didn't, and it just went right through his legs. I remember it. And then I think their keeper's dad got booted out for trying to start a fight in a family stand against a 14-year-old because he was like mouthing off and celebrate Western-super-Mares. So that season's unbelievable.
I've got good news for you anyway. Their best player's Josh McCoy, and he surely can't run 60 yards, can he?
No, I don't know. Well, he wouldn't at the Torquay show. He barely run 6 for us.
He's their captain and top scorer as well, but he's only scored 6 or 7 goals. That kind of shows the troubles they've had this season.
If he scores, will we get the same conversation around about Billy Waters that we shouldn't have released Josh McCoy? We should have got him back. That was a signing where I went the classic line. I've had him on Football Manager. He's going to be great for us. And then, oh my god,
he had the credentials, but produced very little.
Dreadful. So we have Reece Murphy as well, don't we? And they're both, it's amazing that team. The names we actually had, and we're still dreadful.
Yeah, I think at least Reece Murphy still did something after he left us. I think McCoy's done all right, hasn't he?
But I think for what he was at the start of his career, I think was he with Bournemouth and Luton. I think
he was at some league.
He had a lot of promise to become this, sort of player that Duke McKenna will probably be. But yeah, hopefully
it won't be as good an atmosphere as that away game. That was a beauty, wasn't it?
That was my highlight of the season. That was absolutely brilliant.
You didn't go that one, did you? You weren't there, Matty, were you?
Me, no, I wasn't there for that game. No.
Fantastic atmosphere.
We had more Torquay fans than Weymouth that day.
I can't remember. Yeah, it must have been close.
They didn't. It looked like it, and they didn't announce how many Torquay fans were there. So I guess so. But it'd be interesting
in some respects because it's a nice, easy away day, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I'm gutted they're going down. To be honest, I'm not going to lie in terms of that. Like, I wish they'd stay up. I thought they were actually going a bit of revival with those. Obviously, the last 5 games killed that off because Aldershot are there for taking. Aldershot, that sort of team with all the pressure and they're just losing every week, and usually find these little plucky teams will come out, but it doesn't look like they will. And don't start on Saturday if you ask. So
it's not even like they're going to get replaced, is it, Lex? Because I think you've got the usual suspects that are coming up next season.
Yeah, it's all Northern are going up and coming down from League Two. It's horrible. It's just all Northern teams. So everyone's Northern to us. But yeah, it's crazy.
And then and then I think National League North as well. You've got like York, Fylde, Chorley, Southport, all the sort of yo-yo National League. North, South teams.
I want Dorking to come up so we can be on their documentary. But they're having a bit of a wobble from the south at the moment because of injuries. And
they're still top.
I think they are just about, yeah. No, I really enjoy. Shout out to a bunch of amateurs series. That's a team I want to come up from the south. That's the difference between south and north, though, isn't it? I'm not being funny. Like as we found, the difference is ridiculous. But by a mile, yeah. But thanks for joining me today. Any last things you want to put in?
What's your prediction, Sam?
Oh, what's I got? 2-0 Torquay.
Yeah, I'll go 2-0. I'll agree with that, Sam. Yeah.
Boring, aren't you?
Just saying, last week I said 2-0 Halifax. And I went, no, we're nick a 2-1. Then you said 2-0 and it was 2-0. I was absolutely livid.
Well, I was berated last week for saying 2-0 to Halifax, so I was impressed by that. I'll say 3-1 Torquay. Yeah, I just had a little flash in my head that we would concede, but no, we're going with 2-0. But yeah, cheers for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Before Zoom kicks us out, please like and subscribe.